Okay, so the Saturn soul matrix, or the Saturn's cube, which is cube consciousness, okay, or Metatron's cube is also another name for that. This is nothing bad. I mean, it's really good, everything that we're going through right now. It's just all the information has come to us occult, it's hidden, and, you know, that adds to the game of seeking and figuring this puzzle, if you will, this life out. Anyway, so I'm bringing here the awareness of what I was talking about with Saturn's cube and how we're liberating ourselves from the wheel of samsara. And this liberation is not a rebirth. This is a full liberation, a free man, freedom, real freedom. Okay, so samsara is us going on the wheel or going through the ages and creating, going through all of the zodiac signs, creating like you're stabilizing your soul essentially and having experiences so that you're not a noob. It's the beginning of a video game, okay? And so Saturn, I want you to look at these planets here. This is a geocentric model of astrology. I personally align with that. I'm a flat earther, and the ideal that it's a plane, it's a holographic projected reality that we're experiencing. I do believe in that to an essence. I also believe it is a cosmic being that we're within the energetic structure of, and we're having these expressions so that we can go through as cells, a part of the earth, so that we can go through this ascension process. So the earth and Saturn are intimately connected. Okay, so Earth is not a sacred planet just as yet. She's in her ascension process, and she is terraforming. She's transforming her body. And so all of these planets are wandering stars or essences of source expression that we've given names and all these things. These are cosmic ray embodiments. Okay, these are planes of expression of the Earth's subtle bodies and her solar system, so her internal making, which is projected externally, just like us, right? We project our internal workings externally. And so this ascension process, planetary and personal, Earth is ascending. She is like connected with Saturn. Saturn holds the third ray, which is the form or the embodiment of the first and second ray. First ray is divine will and power, and this is the ability to destroy anything that is blocking the soul's growth. And the second ray is the ray of love and wisdom. This is the mother. So you have the father, the mother, and then the son, essence, right? You would think it would be our sun, but it's not. Our sun is part of the second ray with Jupiter. So, but Saturn holds the third ray, which corresponds to the throat chakra or the divine expression. Although it is not a representation of the Buddhic plane, it's the rainbow bridge or the causal plane that we have to cross in order to get into the higher states or higher embodiments of source expression. And so that's what Earth is in the process of doing. She's been in the process of doing, and that's what we have the ages where we have the root races and these multiple incarnations around the wheel of samsara. Okay, and then we see that expressed through the zodiac, okay, and all of its myriad of expressions, because essentially everything comes from the center of the toroidal field, from the black sun at the bottom that comes up through Mount Meru, okay, at the center, and goes up into Polaris, the North Pole, and gets distributed out through Ursa, the three. There's a cosmic triangle, okay, and then it goes out the seven rays of the Rishi. The seven rishis, the seven spirits, Ursa Major, which is Mama Bear. Okay, so that's where the rays become the seven, and that's the seven lights, the seven embodiments, the seven angels, all the things, okay? And they downstep their frequency into the planetary bodies, and they have evolutions of themselves, and this is why we have certain rays that are here on the planet at certain times that are guiding the collective into another stage of embodiment or solar deification, to become a solar logos, which is what the earth is doing. She's becoming deified or Christed, becoming Christ's self again. And so we're ascending through this rainbow bridge, and Saturn is that rainbow bridge, and it also represents the cube consciousness, which is what we're liberating ourselves from. And we're not going to go on that wheel of rebirth unless you need to go on the wheel of rebirth and have more incarnations. But we're at this bifurcation. This is what the end times, which is what Saturn represents. Saturn is in Aquarius in true sidereal astrology. It's in Gene Key 19 right now. The future human. If you don't know Gene Keys, get to know me, and you'll get to know Gene Keys. And so this ascension process that Earth is having, we are having, again, is us crossing over the threshold as a soul, saying the soul is done. The soul is like, I'm not going to incarnate anymore. I don't need to come back here. I've learned all my lessons. I'm desireless. I'm karmicless. I'm free. I'm free. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Okay, so that's what the soul is saying. And this is what liberation is. And then that leads to in higher states of embodiment of the divine, which goes beyond Christ consciousness. And so this essence is us being liberated. Okay, so we're not going around that wheel. And Saturn consciousness is, or the cube consciousness, which is the representation of earth, air, fire, water, right? But also the mineral, the vegetable, the animal, and the lower man consciousness. And so that's the cube consciousness. That's Metatron's cube. That's the loop. That's the biofeedback system. That's the binary, if you will, without the tertiary, without the trinary, without the medium of us having that golden nectar consistently, or that dopamine, or the oxytocin, or it's the golden nectar that the hypothalamus secretes, or the DMT, which is also, there you go, DMT, is constant in the body, and that DMT creates a medium for the carbon-based DNA and the silica-based DNA, your plasma DNA. And so that's where that trinity, if you will, would come through, is being able to read the plasma silica-based DNA, which is what we're coming into, because the earth is ascending in her body, which is what we are, the body. The human beings here are the body. And so we're ascending this consciousness. We're ascending this physical vessel. And Saturn also represents this, what we have to do in order to change the form. And anything that is not serving the soul is being released right now, the soul's growth. And so this is where we have Pluto and Capricorn in true sidereal astrology, or sky astrology, or sidereal astrology. Pluto is in Capricorn, okay? Look up. And anyway, so this is why we see all the destruction and the coming of the end of the Saturn's matrix, or how the energy has been stifling and looping into the Saturnian frequency, or geomancy, how they've been locking it here in this biofeedback loop, or we can call it a vector seal, where the light is Shona, it's frozen light, and where the light in our bodies are not able to fully function because it doesn't have the correct oscillation vibration input. It's missing the ether. It's missing its connection to the plasma. Some people get it through time and practice and embodiments, or reincarnation, and that's the whole purpose of ascension and this initiation that a lot of people are on, this awakening path. And so when we're exiting the Saturn's matrix, Earth is going to go through a genetic mutation, which we are the genes that are mutating by choice, epigenetics, by mind over matter, by becoming aware of frequency and energy, and that everything that we've been taught is a lie or a half-truth. So the body mutation is our form is going to drop the cube consciousness, which is the heavy, dense minerals and animalistic primal mentality. It's not to say that it won't, an animalistic and vegetation, the very dense, heavy minerals. So the energy that we embody is silica. That's what our bodies are mainly made out of, is silica and water. And so we're moving into beyond the Saturn's field. Okay, so we're moving into the Buddhic plane. So we're ascending the earth through the sacred union with Saturn going through the wheel. We're ascending into now the throat chakra of the divine being, which is the Buddhic plane. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. Again, my name is Carrie Ann, the Quirky Cosmo,